man.
Man, Dot, I'm surprised. Dot's usually never late, and that's surprising coming from a Jamaican dude.
Times has changed.
It's not ever since Dot left NYC. He's not real New York City.
Yeah, he converted.
Mm-hmm.
He converted. I'm surprised he put it. I'm surprised he put it in that Brown interview, man.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna say Chris in Rhode Island. I'm like, you don't lost this guy, man.
Fuck it.
Oh, hold on, let me get my notes.
Yo, see, hey, yo, I thought by the way Doc came on that he got an agenda.
I'm ready for it.
I
got my laptop. I got my notes on my laptop. I'm ready for it. As you can see, representing Brooklyn. It's still NY. You know what I mean?
Let's just say, Josh, when you do your research, there's been a lot of false narratives out there.
Uh-oh.
I hope you're ready to articulate it, though. It's a difference between reading it and articulating it when that pressure's in front of you.
All right. So, yo, listen, I'm going to get us started. Fellas, COVID-19 back on the rise. Do we think that if they came up with a vaccine in the next 6 to 12 months, would you take it?
No. You ever been in the class and you want to see everybody else jump out the window first or act up with the substitute teacher first and then see what the vibes is like before you jump in? That's the type of wave I'm in. I'm sorry. Some people are going to have to test it out. My mom didn't even let me get the flu shots growing up, so I just been having that mentality, man. Don't trust the government putting stuff into your body. They be tracking you and messing up all types of your immune systems. You know, when we had the slave days, they was injecting all of us. That's why diabetes is high for African American. I don't trust none of that stuff. So like I said, someone else is going to have to test it out. I'll see. And I don't know. I may not have corona already, man. I think I might be asymptomatic. So, but I know it's all about protecting others. You know, I definitely get that point. But personally, no.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Zim on that. I've been on my Dr. Sebi for like a good 8 years now. I don't do the flu shot. I don't do vaccinations. Like I hardly take medicine. I won't even take aspirin, to be honest with you. So if it comes down to a new vaccination coming out, I think unless I was diagnosed with it and I was in bad shape, I don't see me being one of the first people or being one of those testers on the front lines trying to see this new vaccination. So I don't see me getting into it at all.
Yeah, I'm with them. Like I ain't gonna be nobody's guinea pig. So I'm gonna let it go through like the first couple years, probably see what happens, see the side effects, see what it's causing, what it can cause, and then like Zim said, like, you know, we could all may have had it. I don't know, man. It's all about building up your immune system. I'm just not ready to rely on a vaccine that they just created like in a year. So I would have to see more information on it before
I feel you. It's a tough decision because like it might reach a point where it's like people, in order for us to go back to work, go back to schools, go to events, you have to have like your vaccination. So I mean, I was thinking about that a lot as the cases spike up. I see Florida's having like almost 10,000 new cases a day. You know what I'm saying, which is really scary, especially with the NBA going down. There's gonna be a lot of attention down there in Florida. But at least us here in Rhode Island seem to be handling it really well. And I really got to salute Gina Raimondo. You know what I'm saying? She did a really good job, I think, of bringing us, you know what I'm saying, weaning us into a lockdown and then starting to wean us out. So, you know what I'm saying? I really got to give her props in respect for that.
Yeah, I feel like it's like, no, definitely Florida, Texas, they all opened too early. They jumped the gun. I think the rush was to like kind of get the economy back booming. But what they didn't realize, I feel, is like, you know, you did all that to get like, you know, a month and a half worth of normalness. And now you're back to square one. So definitely Governor Raimondo did her thing. Naturally, like with more stuff opening up, we're going to see more cases. But I think now we kind of gave ourselves like, you know, a better game plan on how to deal with it, like, you know, how to manage it so it doesn't just blow up on us. So I think she did a good job with that too.
Nah, that's a good.
Yeah, and with the whole situation, it's just like, damn, you open up the candy store to all these people in Florida, Arizona, Texas, California, got them a taste of it, then you're going to tell them to shut it down. And as you can see, man, I'm really starting to see people don't give a damn anymore. Like, talk about vaccine, people don't even want to wear masks. So the resistance of this whole corona turned into, this is something real serious. Then it got weaponized politically. And then now it's either black or white with it. Like, if you wear a mask, you must be this party. If you don't wear a mask, you're this party. So it just turned into a sloppy situation. And you know me, I blame that all the way to the top and the messaging that he's bringing out there. And I don't know Gina's party affiliation, but regardless, she is doing a great job.
She's a Democrat.
Democratic.
Okay. But yeah, she's doing a great job. Very stern, very transparent. Whoever the people, you know, her team around is doing a very good job. And not for nothing, Rhode Islanders, you got to give credit to the people in the state that's just been abiding by it, you know, to the best of their ability.
Not for nothing, I've been taking a course. I'm trying to look up the name right now. So my job is actually making me take a course. It's called the contact tracing course. So it's all about like COVID. It's like 6 hours. And it's like people just, I feel like everybody's just so against everything, thinks everything's a conspiracy theory, or they like do their research. So what I learned is like with the corona, it's the same like influenza, the flu. You can infect 2 to 3. One person can infect 2 to 3 people at a time. That's like the average number that's getting infected by one person. So unlike the flu, when you get sick, there's like if you want to take the shot, there's certain antibiotics. For COVID, it's really nothing. You're really just relying on your body to heal you. So the mask, it's like, yes, like it's not going to prevent it 100%, but it's helping to kind of like contain and slow down like the transmission of like the disease. So when I just see people on like social media so against it, it's just like, just read up on it. Like, it's not something they're doing to try to control you, to keep you in a crib. If anything, they want us out there spending money, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It's just kind of weird times.
I think it's really, though, just to piggyback off what you just said, I think it's like a ignorance is bliss type of situation. I think a lot of people are just uneducated on the whole spreading of the disease, how to acquire the disease, how to maintain the disease. So I think people are kind of just, again, if you look at the news or media, they'll make you think that you can't do anything. You know what I mean? But on the same token, as we mentioned, it's like we're opening up the economy because for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? So it's is this an instance where this is a disease that is serious enough to shut us down long term, or to eventually wipe out the human race? I don't know. But at the same time, it's like we don't know, so we're kind of still just living our lives to the best of our ability, or just living our lives to a normalcy, and it's not helping the cause in the long run because, again, we don't know what's going to make it better. We don't know again how to maintain it or what's going to come about of it. So I just think because people don't know, they're just living their life day to day and not abiding by certain guidelines. So that's really where we are with it. But again, I think it's just because we don't know, man. There's so much uncertainty with the whole situation. So
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm with all these Karens that you see on social media with these masks, man. I went to Walmart the other day. I forgot my mask, and I park far because I don't want people parking next to me. So when I get up there, I'm like, damn. I wonder if I want to make World Star today. Are they gonna go ham on me because I'm still with the Black Lives Matter movement? I'm like, no, you let that lady go in there. But I ended up walking my black ass and got my mask. So, but it's just that mindset of just, this is where we are now. What is acceptable? What's not acceptable? But I don't know, man. I wish we had an end game. I wish Fauci told us something. I wish Trump tell us something. But like I said, to be the first round of guinea pigs, nah, can't do that, Josh.
She said that we might get 100,000 cases a day if we keep trending in this direction.
Hey, what do you guys think about them keep saying, oh, we're getting more cases because we're testing more? Is that, I thought, like, to me, that's dumb, because I think they're going off, when they put out these numbers, the people that's actually contracting it and actually going to hospitals, correct?
Nah,
No? Like, how, like,
even if you get a test, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to go to a hospital to, you know what I'm saying, they do like when they do like the drive-through at Twin River, if you have it, and just because you have it doesn't mean you're going to like a hospital. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
It's different.
Yeah, if you have some people, like if you have symptoms, they're telling you to just quarantine. You're not necessarily even going to that hospital if you feel like you have the symptoms. I mean, not if you have it, but it's, I don't know. Just my thing is, if you don't want to wear a mask, like don't go to that store or go somewhere else. Like don't look foolish like making a rant or like going into the store going crazy just because they're telling you to wear a mask. Like it's not like, it's just some of the things you see is just weirds you out sometimes.
And these people
but I'll
know
keep it
they're
a buck.
going to the store knowing that they're requiring it. So I agree with you, Doc.
Yeah.
Like, why would you even bother wasting your time? Send your niece or son or somebody who does not to, or do Amazon groceries. I don't know. Drive
It's not a battle you're
curbside,
gonna
something.
win.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
Nah, but I'll keep it a buck. Like, I only wear my mask if I'm going to an establishment. I keep my mask in my car, hanging on my rearview mirror. So, like, if I'm going outside regular to go run, ride a bike, or outside, I'm not wearing a mask.
No, they don't. They don't say to wear
I have to
outside.
be going in somewhere in order for me to put my mask on. But like I said, I put mine right on my rearview mirror. And if I'm going somewhere, if I gotta go into the store, okay, I'll wear it. But other than that, I'm not. It's uncomfortable. It's hot. It's itchy. It hurts the back of your ears. Like, I get why people are against it, but again, if we're trying to be safe about it, let's be safe with it.
Yeah, like no, I agree with that. When I'm outside, what I'm doing, like when I'm with you guys or I'm outside somewhere, I'm definitely not wearing like a mask. It's more kind of open space. But if you're inside of like of an establishment and it's you surround like a grocery store where it's like surrounded by a lot of people, or even something like closed corners like a liquor store, like definitely throw that mask on. You don't know what could happen to you, or you don't know what could happen to someone else. So just kind of, it's just like a common courtesy.
That's facts. So to move us forward, I want to say that I've been paying attention to social media, just seeing what's going on. And it seems like we're still getting a lot of police acting crazy, brutalizing people. I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but this past weekend, I forget the state, but a woman was being detained by the police, and the guy tased her stomach, but she was pregnant.
Oh yeah, I did see that briefly.
Yeah. So my question to you guys is: the current police officers, the current police models, is it possible to even really reform that?
I don't think so, because I think we talked about this a few episodes ago. Like a lot of the officers, they are who they are. You're not gonna like they say in basketball, Josh. Like when you get to a certain age, it's tough to break a habit. Like that's just, you know what I'm saying. And like there are certain police officers that, for one, have a certain mindset of how they view certain people, and that's not going to change. No matter if anything, what's going on now in the world, or in like, you know, America specifically, is angering and enabling them even more in some cases. What I think would kind of help the situation is our, like, you know, police reform needs to happen, in the sense that, like, you know, our law enforcement needs to be, like, you know, rewritten top to bottom, just to kind of, so certain things that they were able to get away with in the past, they're more severe punishments. Like, you know, you're not getting off easy, like paid leaves, or like just move to desk work, you're getting fired, you're not able to go work anywhere else for another police department. You may face, like, you know, some of these things need to be bumped up to like hate crimes, so there's like the opportunity for severe jail time. So I think that's the only thing that will change it. Nothing like, I don't know. It just has to change all in all, I feel.
Yeah, I think it's a culture, and you have to change a culture from within. But at the same time, I get what I want to touch on the premise that Dot made about the whole Black Lives Matter and how it can be enraging to certain officers who carry a certain prejudice. And I definitely understand that aspect and seeing kind of, I wouldn't say a spike, but it being more in the open now of what's going on with the whole police brutality movement, or what's going on with police and how they deal with people of brown or black skin. So, but when it really comes down to it, I think it comes down to the person. Like I said, each person has their own prejudice and kind of carries their burden by themselves. So the police is kind of like a union of silence. And I think it will just get more swept. I think we'll get more swept under the rug now if once certain sanctions, certain laws come about when it comes to police brutality. I think it's going to get more swept under the rug because it's not what you know, it's what you can prove at the end of the day. And I feel like police are going to protect their own. And even with reform, it's going to be hard for us to, as civilians, to kind of prove our worth or prove how we've been dealt with, how the police deal with us. So it's a tough situation.
Yeah, it was funny because I was talking to a police officer the other day, and he kept it real on, like, listen, a lot of the people I talk to says I don't even want to deal with black people no more. And I said that was the best thing you ever told me, in the sense of it's so racially motivated now. They feel you say something wrong to a minority, it's racist or deemed prejudice, or you're not doing your job correctly. And I'm just like, you know what? If that's your thought process, it's gonna save lives and protect against negative encounters, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I think what's happening now is police officers are realizing that you can be exposed, you can be sanctioned, you can be embarrassed. It can affect your family and your loved ones. The safety of your families can be put into jeopardy by making the wrong mistake. And that's some of the things that I've been encouraged to see. But it's the same reasons why I don't talk to people over 30 and up about politics or religions or abortions or even this whole Black Lives Matter. They've been so programmed for their lives for so long, to bring up that basketball analogy. It is what it is for them. You know what I'm saying? They could say what they want. They could try to understand, but in regards to doing their job, they feel like they was taught this certain way through the academy, through all their practices. And honestly, it sounds good on surface. The biggest thing I want is, if these police officers, and it does pass, I don't know if you guys know more information about that in regards to, I know the Republicans had a plan, the Democrats had a plan, and the biggest key opponent was the immunity aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Republicans did want it. Obviously, Democrats didn't want it. And I feel like if they can stop being punished just like a civilian was, if you make a wrong decision, make an irrational decision, especially based on race or circumstances or prejudice, then you're going to get in trouble for it. So it's a slow process. It's not going to happen just like that. You know what I mean? So we just all got to be patient and just wait and see, and just keep putting our foot, down, and stand 10 toes down how we believe in.
And all in all, you don't want, you're never going to force anyone to like you. You know what I'm saying? Right. If someone has something against a specific race, it is what it is. But what we got to fight for, I feel, and what we got to change is that every race is treated the same. Every race is treated equally. So that's the big takeaway. I don't want to fight for you to see why you shouldn't hate black people. I just want you to know that I'm going to be treated, tried, or have the same opportunities that you have, no matter what the color of my skin is.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. It's funny, you guys know that I listen to a lot of podcasts, and even now, that I'm in school and doing so much work, I'm listening to even more. So a podcast I've been listening to a lot is the Joe Rogan podcast. He has a lot of different type of people on there, but he had this ex-Navy SEAL on there. His dude's name is Jocko, some big diesel white dude, one of the greatest Navy SEALs ever. And he said that, one, he said that we need to spend more money to train them better, and that they need to be training almost as much as they're out in the field. And then 2, he said that people need to learn how to be arrested. Like, the public needs to learn how to be arrested properly. And that just let me know, like, as we think progress is being made and the changes that we want to see, there's a whole large part of society that just does not want to see any real change when it comes to policing, because they feel like, you know, that the police are the only thing keeping them safe between them, you know, between themselves and like black and brown people who are like scary. So they don't want to see any change. They love the way it is, and they think that all these things that happen, you know, they find every excuse. Oh, this guy was a criminal, or this woman was being belligerent. It's so funny, like, I feel we did that, you know, that there was a ton of awareness, but I see people like settling back into their old ways and old habits and speaking about things in the way that they always did. And, you know, it's a little worrisome, because I really do think that, you know, we need top-down reform, legislation, as well as police. And I'm a little worried that we're not going to get it.
Yeah, and I saw something on Facebook. I was looking at one of my it's a white guy, good friend of not a good friend of mine, like I know him, good guy, like, you know, he's definitely for, like, you know, the cause of, like, you know, Black Lives Matter and like certain things changing, and he kind of makes topics on his Facebook every day that kind of gets like the conversation going, even when as far as to like exposing his mom's thoughts one day. Like, that's how deep into it he is. And he had made a post or something of the sort as, it's kind of tough for, like, you know, felons that want to change their life around to, like, you know, make a decent living or have a good opportunity. Specifically, like, you know, felons that are of the African-American race. And just on it, like, you know, like I said, he is white. Just on it, as you read in the comments, literally, like, you know, every white person on there was like, if you're meant to do it, you'll find a way. Like, that shouldn't be an excuse. And even to the point where, like, certain white people that had gotten like arrested before or done something in their past, they're listing like all their, like, you know, accolades and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's just some people, as much as you scream it, as much as you write it out for them, they're just never gonna get it. And it's like, it's not an excuse like, oh, I'm a felon, my life's over. But what you're not understanding is, because of the color of my skin and what I may have done X, Y, and Z amount of years ago, I'm never going to get an opportunity. And is that really fair? Like, look at you. You said you did this, and this, and look how, like, no one's ever looked at you twice for the most part. No one's ever, that past is like erased. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what you did. So it's
Right.
just, people just don't get it, you know?
Yeah, no, that's real talk. And, you know, I definitely appreciate that Navy SEAL in the sense of training how to get arrested. Listen, a lot of people know that getting arrested, being an African American or minority, it's not easy. It's an uphill battle. It's on your record. It's a stain. I don't have a mommy and daddy that could save me, or have a business that I could just start working out of. I'm going to be looked at different. So when I see those white people in the comments like, oh, it's just an excuse, you can do extra, like, they don't even understand that we're already behind the 8 ball. We made a mistake, just like you have family members in their family that made mistakes, but don't just have those opportunities. And trust me, I'm speaking from experience, and you guys well know what I had to deal with. I had to wait out before I got on my grind and my expectations, because of the time period, because me being black, because of, you know, having a Muslim name on our application. It's not easy. So it's disheartening. And this is something that, you know, I can't wait for my DEI tomorrow, 9:30. I'm excited for that. But it's just more of, even them speaking from a positive point of view, they don't even understand the white privilege that they have right there in that instance, in regards to make a comment like, well, it's just an excuse. Well, it's just this. Nah, it is different. So when I see a black man resisting arrest, it's not because they just want to be defiant. They just know those handcuffs is gonna scar them for life. It's gonna take away a lot, take away a lot of opportunities for them. A job's not even gonna let them explain what transpired in regards to that. And as you guys can see, a guy can rape a female on the side of a dumpster. His daddy knows the judge, and he got off when somebody else is selling, some marijuana and got to do 2 to 3 years. And you guys know the incidents I'm talking about with that cop. Like, so that's like the difference where I feel some people don't grasp, and it's disheartening. It's sad, but it is what it is, man.
Let me give you two examples. Let me give you 2 examples that involve me and you, Zim. I'll go with you first. I remember when I was working in a specific place and you were looking for a job change, and not for nothing, like, you did a phone screen. You didn't even come in. Well, that's how I know we've kind of matured and we've kind of like grown since then. What was their excuse? Like, you remember what they said?
Nah, I forget.
Remember when you interviewed and you did the phone screen for the place where I was working?
Oh, yeah.
And they say you sounded urban.
You sounded, you know what I mean?
Urban.
So we're not even, in 2016, we're not even thinking like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not even thinking like that. So imagine on top of that, you would have had like, a criminal background. And so you're already fighting how you see a God-given voice that you can't work here because you sound too black. Let's call it. Now we're smart enough to know that they were basically saying he sounds too black. He can't work here.
Right. And for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I even came to the chat and was like, I put on my best white voice and like I tried. I was articulate. I was, no arms, no anything. And they still deciphered through the way I was talking that, the way I was too urban. So I remember that now. Yeah, it's so unfortunate.
I'll give you another example. So what kind of made me look at them different, kind of as I learned more stuff and started like seeing things differently, I kind of figured, man, I got to get out of here. So I was fighting for a promotion within the office. It was between me and another guy. So the guy I was going up against was the high school teammate of the director of the office, 2 white guys. He was previously in the office I was at. He got promoted. He couldn't handle the workload of where he got promoted to as a manager, and he was coming back because the office was failing. He was coming back. Basically, he didn't want to do it anymore. So he came back, and it was told to me that, like, it was going to be between me and him. Meanwhile, I've been working here, whatever the new business line was. I knew the business line top to bottom. He came in and he couldn't have learned it in a month. But, the white privilege, he was teammates with the guy who was the director of the office. It was a better look to have, like, a white, now that I know more, a white person in that role. He ended up getting it. And he ended up getting another manager job after saying, listen, I can't handle this job. It's too much for me. I'm going to come back home, basically. So, and it's just like, I feel like every other person that was white, their career trajectory of like, getting promoted was just like, I don't want to say it was given to them, but they were put in better situations. Whereas like, me, it was like, all right, I'm doing I had won like awards. Like I was like recruiter of the month. I had generated the most sales for a specific period by a long shot. They even gave me like a $200 gift card, and there was no opportunity for me to grow. It was, all right, we're going to ship you off to Worcester, and you're going to try to build a business line from scratch that basically didn't exist. So basically they didn't know, they had nowhere to promote me to. They knew I was up for a promotion. So they figured they'd tell me, all right, go to Worcester, build it up, and you can own it. So it's just so different. That's just, and then if you could look at it as, yeah, maybe coincidence, but it's just like, how does everybody else get this opportunity? I'm here like scratching and clawing, trying to figure out like, what do I got to do just to get to this next level? So that's just how it goes sometimes for us, man.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's all facts, man. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about, look at what white people will do to us in front of the cameras. Imagine what they say in the boardrooms, in those hiring rooms, in those rooms of what they're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So like it doesn't like violence from white supremacy doesn't always have to be like a physical, a cop cracking you over the head with a nightstick. It could be the hiring practices. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy, and it permeates through every single sector of business, education, everything. You know what I'm saying? So that was a really good point. So with that being said, I'm moving us to our main event. This is so let me give the listeners a little bit of insight into this group chat, right? So Kazim is a Fabolous stan, all caps. Sean is a Jadakiss stan, all caps. Like these guys love those two artists like and so we always have debates about who's better, who's more relevant, who's more impactful, who has a better catalog, who's a better rapper. And me and Bobby indulge in it a little bit, but not as much as these two. So last night we finally got the versus battle that we were looking for. 20 tracks, 20 tracks each guy. Then shout out to Clue, you know what I'm saying, for the
and Envy.
Yeah, shout out to Clue and Envy for the after party, man. I fell asleep on the after party because it's not you were there, but yo, listen. First of all, I'm coming to Bobby first. Bobby, who you think won last night and why?
Jada definitely won. I want to make it clear that I am a fan of both artists. I want to make that clear first and foremost. I wanted them two to go, but I'm a fan of both first and foremost. But I will say, I identify personally more with the Fabolous. I feel like I'm more of a Fabolous type than a Jada type, and in the sense of like more for the ladies, more about the fashion, more about that aspect. I'm less of a Jada with selling bricks, shooting guns, that, you know what I mean? Music's music, entertainment's entertainment. So I'm just telling you how I identify as. Now, when it comes to rapping, we always debated this, and I always said personally that Jadakiss is a better rapper. I will say that Fabolous has managed to stay relevant with his raps or with his content throughout his career. I will say that I can say with a clear heart that Jada, even though he has a certain content that he kind of falls back on mostly, it's been repetitive for the most part. I'll say outside of the last two albums, what was the Kiss Me Later or something, Thank Me Later or something like that?
Later. It was his last one was Ignatius.
I know, it was before that. So if I want to say like two albums before that, that's when I kind of started to see the growth in Jada a little bit more. Now with Fab, we kind of seen that growth from the whole Soul Tape series. You know what I mean? Even moving into Summertime Shootout, he still shows that the growth side in personal life, being a man, being a husband, being a father, all of that aspect. So with that being said, I don't have a favorite, but when it came to displaying the music last night, there was like Jada bangers that I forgot about.
Can I get a witness?
Can I get a witness? So many that I forgot, like verses that I forgot about, and I'm just like I grew up on this. Like Jada was really it from I was probably like 12 years old, being in Jig's house, listening to Knock Yourself Out, to all through college. I remember like me, you and Weeks in the dorm rooms listening to Champions Hair series going crazy. So it's like, I don't know. I was torn, but at the end of the day, when it came down to the actual battle track for track, I think I scored it 14-6 or 13-7 Jada.
All right, so America, before I start, let me preface by saying Jadakiss is in my top 7. So overall, if this was anybody else, obviously I'll be team Al-Qaeda Jada. But when I hear it's Fabolous, first of all, my heart warms up when Fabolous is constantly in a conversation with somebody who is revered as top 5 dead or alive. So he's always been in this, it's been barbershop talks, and I'm actually glad we got to have a chance. Last night, America, I would admit, in that 20 songs, Jada beat Fabolous, okay? And I'm going to give America reasons why that happened. Fabolous had a plan. He should have stuck to the plan. Jadakiss gassed him up with, nope, we're sticking to the script. This is what I'm going to do. And you could tell once, every DJ tells me they hate when people come to the DJ booth to tell them what to play. Fabolous kept going to booth and like, and Booth's looking at him like, no, no, do this. And Fabolous had classic features. Unfortunately, they did not live up to Jadakiss' classic historical features. That featured, you know, Biggie Smalls, DMX, The Lox, Eve, Rough Riders, Bad Boys, etc., etc. So I think that's what Fabolous dropped the ball. He should just play his bangers. They want to call you R&B Fab, so be it. He just went off script, and Jadakiss just had better showmanship, better presentation. He was hysterical. He was relatable. And then the proof was in the pudding with his freestyles and features that are classics. But Fabolous, you can't say he played anything that was whack. It just wasn't to the game plan level of what Jadakiss did. And in last night's series, yes, Jadakiss showed that he was better than Fabolous on that night. We go a 7-game series, let's go. We're saying just solo records, where Jadakiss only played 2 solo records that whole night. I'm not talking, you know, Lox records or whatever the case may be, but he only played 2 that whole night. So it was a lot of groundswell. And Axe Dot, I watched it with him. I went to his home. Lovely family, by the way. Shout out to Luna. I love that girl. But regardless, I was spitting every Jada bar, every Fab bar, because it's just the culture, the music in me. But Fabolous kind of dropped the ball by listening to the critics of, oh, we don't want to hear Trade It All. We don't want to hear So Into You. We don't want to hear your feature verse with Lil Mo or J-Lo. Nah, stick to what people know you as. And unfortunately, he did have to hold that L, but I'm so proud of you, Fabolous. You're still my favorite rapper for so many reasons. I'm gonna let Sean and Josh get into this.
Hold on, wait. Let me lob. I'm crossing over like Kobe. I see that come to the
Here we go.
I throw it up like this.
Throw that shit up, man.
Let's get it. Yay!
Listen. Like, first off, before I go on my rant, like, Fabolous, like, I'm a Fabolous fan. Like, I don't think he's whack. I'm not here to shit on Fabolous. Like, he's a legend, New York City legend, tremendous rapper, punchline king. You know, Brooklyn stand up. Like, I got respect for Fab, but Jade is different. And that's why what I've been saying all week to this guy over here next to me, I've been saying to him, I'm going to teach him that Fabolous is, outside of Rhode Island, Jade is that dude.
No. I'm not going to let you go there. No.
I was going to teach him that.
Just go.
I told you I'm going to teach you that. So what I was saying, people like Fab, and Fab is trendy. So when they kept saying all of these, like, Fab got more hits, he could go into more hits, it's a rap battle. So Fab's biggest songs are all R&B features. You can't go into that in a rap battle. You won't win that, especially when you're playing. Like, the thing about verses, Jada fit like the perfect criteria for a verses, because you're not playing whole songs. You're playing little snippets of the song. So there was no way that Fab would have ever been able to compete with Jada in that aspect of it. And I did some research, and it's just like this narrative that, like, you know, Fab done did Way Soul, X, Y, and Z, did all this stuff. So I looked it up. So their 2 biggest albums, which both went platinum, is Kiss the Game Goodbye and What's that?
Kiss of Death.
Goodbye and Kiss of Death. And Fab's biggest albums are Ghetto Fab and Street Dreams. So the first album that Fab ever dropped was a month after Jadakiss. So Kiss dropped in August, Fab dropped in September, Josh. You heard that? So in 2001, Kiss the Game Goodbye debuted at number 5 on the Billboard for the week. It was number 5 album. Fab debuted number 4. So let's do some numbers now. First week, whatchamacallit, where's it at? First week, Ghetto Fab sold, where is it? Let me see.
Suspect notes over there, lady. Suspect notes over there.
Bad handwriting.
Fab sold 143K. His first album sold 143K for the week. Kiss's album sold over 200,000. So each one of their albums that have like went platinum, the best albums that they're known for, Jada's always sold more records than them. So it was just like a kind of a weird. Go ahead, interject.
All right, because I'm glad you said Fab's debut album, aka meaning a new artist, where Jadakiss has been in the game 5-6 years already, with a lot of success with the Locks, Bad Boy, and Rough Riders. In the midst of all that, to do that, so he is a well-known artist. And then secondly, Fabolous dropped as well on what historical day?
Hove drop on for 9/11 too.
All right, so 9/11, and he was competing with Hove. Everybody considered the greatest artist. But those are great numbers. I'm gonna allow you to rock. Continue, Doc. Thank you for allowing me to interject.
But all in all, my biggest point is Jada is a stone cold lyricist. Like you said, Zim, I'm not here to kill you. I just wanted to throw that out there about the albums. Jada has definitely sold or debuted like similar ranges as Fab, so it's not one person's this much above as far as that goes. But it's not like when Jadakiss says he's top 5 dead or alive, that's a fact. Like Fab's never been battle tested. Jada has battled Beanie Siegel. He's battled
50 Cent.
50 Cent. People that's like, top of the game. So it's like he knows what he's doing. He even said it yesterday. He strategized that whole battle. I went back and listened today because I couldn't hear certain things that they were saying. He's like, oh, he's talking to him. He's like, yo, we're gonna make it a feature thing. Like he's trying to like suit Fab to not
right.
You know what I'm saying? So he knows Jada is so good that he wasn't even confident in playing certain songs. Jada goes like, oh, I know he's about to go to the Billboard, so let's keep it street. Next thing Fab says is, oh, are you trying to say I don't got no street albums? So
right.
A lot of people, I think the only person really that's going to ever be able to go bar for bar with a Jada is like Prime 50, Styles P, Jay-Z. It's not a lot of people. So like for all you guys that thought it was going to be close, like if you know rap, man, that was Josh. Josh came to because Josh used to tell me that I don't know if he was trolling me, but when he looked at that track list and his memory got refreshed of what he grew up on a little bit, and you could hear what he's saying, because Fab is nice in the sense he's a punchline rapper. Jada's telling you a story, he's painting a picture for you. It's gonna be tough to beat a rapper like that. So I'm just happy America could finally see what I've been saying for all these years, man. Hope this comes something big for my man Jada. 914, Jiggy, take it over.
All right, so hold on. Zine and BP, before y'all jump back in, I'm gonna say that. So I'm a little bit older than everybody in this chat. I mean, in this podcast in the chat. So I remember like the anticipation for the Jadakiss solo album. Like as a teenager, everyone was like, "Yo, like he's the nicest one in the Locks." Like they was on a crazy mixtape run before 50 Cent ever like dropped his mixtapes with D Block and J Hood, and just that. So here's the thing: Fab is dead nice. He's smooth, but he's like too cool for school in a sense, and I think that hurt him a little bit yesterday. And so I like to troll. Like I'll tell Sean that like Jadakiss is saying the Hawk of the Hammer for the 897th time. I'll tell Zine that Fab could only sell out a Lupo's or a Strand Theater, but if he tried to do that in any other state except New York, Rhode Island, and Miami, he can't sell out a DUI classroom. Like just right. But the thing about it is, like, I'm a real hip hop head. And I remember, like, like, Jadakiss is on big records. Not only is he on big records that, like, did well on Billboard, but he's on records that was, like, when you was, like, during that time, like, Banned from TV on Nori's album, that, like, that was crazy. I was DJing in New York when New York came out. I seen people tearing fixtures off the wall when that song came on. Like, and Fabolous, as dope as he has a different energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Z made a point, and it's a point well taken, that a lot of Jada's hottest songs that he was a part of are not solo or their features or whatever. But if we being honest, all of Fab's biggest songs, even though they might technically be his song, have a big R&B feature on it. Like Tamia, Ashanti, Neo, others, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't want that to get lost. And it's just, how do I put this? Because I don't want to shit on Fab, like, because I really do like Fab. But there's a difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z said, there's a difference. And Fab has done a great job at constantly reinventing himself. You know what I'm saying? He's way different now than he was in 2010. And in 2010, he was different than he was in 2000. So I give him tremendous credit for that. But there's things that Jada's done in the game. Where, like, he was, like, kind of like the focal point of the whole industry. Fab was never really on that level. Like, Fab always had mixtapes. He had good albums that, like, did pretty well. He had some big singles, songs you want to play when you're, like, talking to your girl on the phone, like, oh yeah, this song made me thinking about you. But Jadakiss, it's a complete different energy. And I don't think that takes away from Fab. But in a battle, when it's man on man, when it's one on one, I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding. And the last thing I'll say is, I think that Jadakiss is so cool with Fab. He was digging in Fab's ass last night, and he, like, starts singing his songs. He's dancing to him, saying, yo, I'm gonna play this at my wedding, bro. I love you. This is great. Like, this is like, so Jadakiss really did a great job of making sure, like, that he was highlighting their relationship. And in a sense, it is big bro, little bro. In a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad that Rhode Island got to see that.
He's the big bro. Jade is the big bro. Like, y'all forgot about that.
I gotta be humble. You know what I mean? I can't come in there and flex how I imagined myself flexing 2 nights ago. But I just want, and I appreciate you guys with the kind sentiments to Fab and the realm that he's in regards to his lyrical ability, his marketing ability, him just as a rapper and a staple in this game. And I don't want to slight Jadakiss when I say features and all this stuff like that, because it is a skill set to put a project together, to even have the concept to get this feature, create this song, create this niche, which I see Fabolous do. And Josh, you brought a great point of him constantly changing with the times, changing the narrative, having content that's relevant to that time. Like, you know, it was a period of time, like, something major happened in social media. Oh, we can't wait for the Fab bar to describe this, because that's what he was known for quite some time. Jadakiss, Dot brought up a great point. This was a schooling lesson on what this versus was. But what I'm noticing what versus does, I'm glad you guys are not doing it, but for example, they did it to Nelly, they did it to T-Pain, they did it to, there was one more battle Teddy Riley, where because of that moment, all of a sudden the memes come out. You try to just shit on the man's progress and catalog, but not appreciating that he was actually able to be in a room with him and go song for song. And yes, Jadakiss won majority of it, but it was good. Dot, I'm here to say you was right. I'm not apologizing because I stand by what I say, but in this versus battle, you was right, and I'm man enough to say that. BP, you see Zim growing up,
Guy can admit when he's wrong, huh?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
This was a perfect setting for Jada. Like, if we're going just straight bars for just straight 16s, there's not many out there that's gonna go with Jada. Like, so I got a question for y'all. Who would be? Because again, I totally feel I feel Jada won it. Like I said, either 14-6 or 13-7. I was undecided on probably like one or two. But like, who can we say would be a good matchup for a Jada? Like, you know what I mean?
Styles P.
Well, but to me, that's his right hand man.
Yeah,
they
they're too close. Like, yeah.
So Bobby, I got two, but my only thing with these two, they didn't have the longevity or the commercial success. But in a pocket, in a run, actually I got three. So just hit me up because I was just thinking, who can go verse for verse like this?
Yeah.
Beanie Siegel.
Yep.
Freeway. Freeway had a time where there's some like just I'm thinking.
I don't know if he got enough content, but yeah.
All right, and then my last one.
Who? You went silent.
You went silent.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kim.
Killer? Oh.
That would actually be interesting.
Oh.
I like that. I like Lloyd Banks in that spot too.
Oh.
Yeah.
So hold on.
So
I feel like Banks and Fab are like in that same round. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Bob, I really agree with you. I think Banks versus Fab would have been a little bit better.
That would have been a lot, yeah.
Because like Banks was trying to be on that. I mean, he was on his grimy, but you know, he was trying to be on that pretty boy, like with the women and stuff like that. I think the best battle for Jada is The Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob.
Because
that's the best, because the best of the West, so Fab and Jada, the fans is, you know what I'm saying? But if
you're so fickle because they're from the same borough. Yeah. Well, not borough, but state, yeah.
If you I think because like if you look at like Game, all right, Game has those hits from the G Unit run and stuff like that he could go toe for toe with. Like when Jadakiss plays All About the Benjamins, he can play Hate It or Love It. You know what I'm saying? Like and not get completely washed away. And then he has so much content that he could go. I mean, because Game would go 100 songs with Jadakiss because he could play a lot of mixtape stuff, a lot of albums, and a lot of diss records that they both have. I think that would be super interesting.
Yeah, I like. I didn't even think of that. I like Game now.
Yeah, and I was disappointed.
Fab got washed by Lil Wayne. Who would be another good? Because I want to see Wayne in a matchup because I don't think the Wayne Fab. I thought that was even more lopsided than the than Jada and Fab.
They just doing mixtape.
Yo, no lie, yo. The thing, and this is not a slight. Don't get mad at me, Z. Because Fab was able to reinvent himself with the social media, like when Twitter was first starting or when Twitter was like popping, he was going on there with like little funny hashtags and stuff like that. And then when IG happened, he became the guy that like, gave you the best quotes for your IG pick, the fashion, the sneakers. So it makes you look at him in a different light than what he's really in. That was unfair for him to be put in the same category to battle with Wayne like that.
Yeah, but to me, that's what an artist is supposed to do. That's how you sustain yourself, relevancy. Yes, you're not going to do the peak numbers that you did early in your career, but that's what we expect from our basketball players. Like we revere LeBron James in year 17, knowing that he really isn't the Miami Heat LeBron James, but he's showing you flashes. He's able to adjust, and that's something that, as an artist, I respect, so much about Fab and what he does. And you're right, he does do that. But
what I'm trying to say is more so like Spencer Dinwiddie. He's very popular on Twitter, right? But his popularity on Twitter don't mean I'm gonna put him in the same conversation with LeBron. And that's
of course not. Of course not, bro.
Nah, I think that what happens is I think that with Fab, if you have Fab constantly is reinventing himself, trying to stay relevant, and I think that when you do that, you lose a little bit of like that mystery of being like a legend. You know what I'm saying?
Or you lose like that core fan base. Like, you know what I mean? Like your fan base is constantly
evolving.
Switching. I wouldn't say switching, but like it's evolving because you're evolving. So I get what you mean by that, Jake.
All right,
Yeah.
so let me ask you guys a question then. Why, for so many years, because I'm going to flip it on his head, that Fab was in his pocket, or just using your analogy, Spencer Dinwiddie, whatever. You know, honestly, you know what they always used to call Fab? And I know we always use NBA. He used to call him Carmelo Anthony. And you know that to be a fact. Like, you know, that was his basketball analogy references. But anyway, why was everybody so comfortable and willing to say Fab was in the same pocket as Jadakiss?
Consistency.
Well, let me say this.
Consistency.
I think that the biggest thing you have to understand too is like when you're like the hottest thing out, like you're likely to burn out quicker because people are just getting like beat over the head with, okay, 50 Cent was like the man from like 01 to like 2008. Then like, oh my God, 50 Cent again, like still beefing with everyone, still on the radio talking crazy. Whereas Fab, to me, this is just me, like Fab to me was never like a starter. If you think about it, like just me, like just growing up, like you got like all these, like there's at least 20 rappers from New York from like the early 90s to like the mid 2000s I would put over Fab. But Fab was never at the top. He constantly stayed under the radar a little bit, made his hits, made his songs, and kind of went away. So people didn't get sick and tired of him. And then he has talent, so he's constantly evolving, he's changing. So I think that Fab sometimes gets put in those conversations falsely. Like, if we talking about when Fab first dropped, there's like 10 rappers in New York that was going crazy during that time, more so than Fab. So they burned out quicker, but Fab kind of stayed the test of time. So that's where that's where I think that's his special talent.
All right. Sean, what you think?
I agree. Like man, Fab is tough, man. I was excited like the next person for them soul tapes to drop. Like every time he comes out here, that's a big show that I want to attend. But like, you know, and then not even a shit on Fab. That's a credit to him. Like, you know, where he sustained, like, you know, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Ludacris, Nelly, all these different kind of rappers, T.I. in his prime, The Game, you know what I'm saying? Lloyd Banks. And he's still here in 2020. And if he dropped a mixtape, like, it may not do. And that's another thing. If you don't do a lot of numbers, that don't mean that you're really not relevant. If he drops a mixtape right now, the urban community, the streets, whatever, Instagram, they're going to flood in their pictures with his captions. They're going to be laughing at like some of the catchphrases he says. So that's an accomplishment to be able to see all these different eras of rappers come and go, and you're able to go out there and make music that somebody that's 19 years old could relate to, you know? So that's definitely a talent that I like about Fab.
It was a good battle. It was good for the culture.
Yeah, I want to see. Now I'm thinking about that. Cam and whoever. I'm thinking about that now.
I think that, so I know that Bobby had brought up the Lil Wayne versus Fabulous battle that Maul and Rory did. Maul was kind of goofy. I don't think he did Fab.
Yeah, I blame that on Maul. That wasn't Fab's doing.
Yeah.
That was Maul with his malfunctions and talking about his playlist. So he didn't get a fair shake on it. But I will say this.
Yeah.
Wayne is mixtape king.
Okay, but my question is, why didn't include DJ for Fab last night? He didn't play the verse Fantastic Four. If Kiss wanted to go street,
he could have went street.
Tapes with like Billionaire, Joe Budden, all them Desert Storm,
Funeral Fab, freaking
that's what he.
There is no competition.
No competition.
Like, he didn't like tap into it. I feel like Booth is like I get why Booth is his DJ, because he's more like he's like a popular DJ. He's gonna do Wendy Williams show. He's gonna be a concert guy. But like Jadakiss DJ looked like the uncle from the barbecue. Like he knew what he was doing when he was ready. But I don't know, man. Fab, I don't know. Fab's DJ, he put out a little post saying basically that he didn't pick the song. So I don't know. Maybe Fab felt those was the song.
But that's what I was saying. Like, Fab, I could tell, had a game plan. Booth had that list, and Fab kept going to Booth because he got psyched out by Jada with features. Let him go to billboards. Basically, you know, the stuff that, you know, Fab sees in his comments. Yeah, go ahead, trade it all. You know what I mean? Like, let me prove to Jada that I have street verses too. You do. They're just not on Jada's level, and you just played right into his hand while this guy was getting drunk, man. But Jada,
my thing is, he do got those though. He didn't.
he does. They didn't touch on it. Yeah,
those verses used to be lethal.
But the thing is, like, as dope as Fab's mixtapes are, it's hard to. So if he want to stay street, it's hard for him to be like, all right, I'm gonna play all my street music that a lot of his like fans don't really know, versus like a street record like a Blackout or a Band from TV or a John Blaze or a Run. A mixtape song is not going up against them tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's kind of like the battle he was kind of facing. Like damn, like yo, listen, I remember the Triangle Offense mixtapes with him and Stack.
Like Billionaire.
Yeah, Fred.
That's what I was like. I was like, yeah, this might be like, you know, but you can't play that. Like the thing with Jada, man, what a lot of cats don't know, Jada's an entertainer. He's very charismatic. Like you seen it last night. Like he controlled the show. Like he made it funny. He made you want to tune in. The way he talks, like that's just always been like not so much Sheek Luch, but that's always been like Jada and Styles. And I don't know, man. It's
mad funny. I got mad pictures with Jadakiss too when he came to Penthouse that New Year's Eve. I couldn't post it because I had to stay loyal, but you know, I'll be back again. But it was a good battle. Like I said, I'll admit Fabolous last night. I thought the culture won, and I just, you know, like I said, the verses, it was catered for the Little Johns. It was catered for the Babyface. It was catered for the Jadas. It was catered for the Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. That was more like an even to me. I thought that was good. But I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just happy that everyone came out. They did amazing numbers, especially integrating with the Apple TV and then that. So I'm happy for them. Hopefully they can both take advantage of it. And, you know, Jada got that round one. He got that round one. We'll see how it goes from here. I didn't know he was 44, though. That's what kind of threw me off. Fab's 41. 41. You know, these guys been in the game for a minute, man. So the ages, every time I hear someone's age, it always throws me off, man. It's crazy. Even Rick Ross, 44. I'm like, damn, these guys is like, they stand the test of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, to do that. You know what I mean? So shout out to them. I can't front. It was good. It was pure entertainment, man. Thanks for the hospitality, Dot. You know what I mean? But as you guys see on my social media, I was out there making sure I stay 10 toes down. My DMs were booming. Oh my God. I was just like, damn, when did Fab become an enemy? But that's what Versus does. For that week or whatever building up, you got to pick a side and stay there. You know what I mean? So hopefully Fab didn't lose fans over it. You know what I mean?
I don't think he did. I think that I don't think that it hurt either one of them. Both their spots are solidified or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that. You know, I don't think that you could do that to Fab.
Yo, last minute, one thought. I feel like if like the culture would accept them, Mace could probably get at Jada somewhat.
I guess the key word you said was accept. You know what I mean? Because you know.
I don't know if he got enough material though.
He got 3 of them things, man. He got a couple of features and songs.
Listen. His Bad Boy success was real.
But I don't know. Mace might not have enough material. So, like, before I wrap this up, guys, who do you think would be a good battle for Lil Wayne?
Drake. Keep it a buck. Like Wayne is so diverse. Like it would literally just have to be Drake.
That's
we gotta. Are we talking mixtape Wayne? Or are we talking about just overall catalog?
Overall catalog. It got to.
Then the only person there's very few.
Yeah, I want to say Hove, but
he might. I don't want to say he'll get.
Nah, you could say it, man. Yo, we gotta stop treating Hove.
No, the thing is with Hove,
man, like,
the thing about Hove, a lot of his tracks and things is kind of like a Kendrick. Like it's good, but a lot of the things that he's saying is gonna go over a lot of
people's heads.
Whereas Wayne, he's like simplifying it. Oh, come here, people. Man, say hey, podcast.
Hey, what's up, Luna?
What up, Lou?
Say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Dad.
Good night.
Oh, look at that.
But yeah, Hove. Yeah, I get what you're saying in that regard. But Hove dropped. I'm thinking about 4 or 5 tracks Hove will drop with. Lil Wayne got bangers too. I don't know. That's a good one.
Yeah, like Miss
That's a good one.
Officer, like it's tough. Like
Oh, how about Lil Wayne? Snoop Dogg.
That would be generational.
Yeah, because Snoop Dogg can go hit for hit, classic for classic, different genres, death row, solo, no limit. You know, even his Pharrell days. You know what I mean? Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. That's tough.
Snoop, I could see Wayne's. I try to tell y'all, Wayne's nice, man.
I would like to see a Wayne versus Eminem battle.
No, that's his arch nemesis. That's really who he.
That would be the one. That would be the one because I feel like a lot of Wayne's fan base, of his larger fan base when he was on fire, is that same Eminem fan base.
Bum is on my lip, as Zim would say.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna speak on it. I'm not even gonna speak
man.
on it. Man.
Nah, yo, Eminem got a lot of crazy joints, bro. I would love, and they're both lyrical.
Eminem's best verse was on Realist N-Word with 50 Cent. That was my favorite Eminem track. I know that bar for bar, but I'm not gonna speak on Eminem. Let's just go on to the next subject.
We haven't heard Renegade. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, Renegade was cool.
Mm-hmm. You know who?
Patiently Waiting just got 100 billion streams, didn't it?
Yeah.
Who?
Patiently Waiting, him and 50's track.
Got 100 million streams, and that didn't even come out during the streaming era. So, just think. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. So, in sports news, Killer Cam is a New England Patriot. We have culture in New England. This is crazy. If you couldn't in this chat, we talked about like, yo, Cam could go to New England, but then we're like, man, I don't know if Bill Belichick is really gonna go for it. But he's a New England Patriot. I pray to God we have a season because this is gonna be the most interesting season in like 10 years for the Patriots. No Tom Brady, one of the realest, blackest quarterbacks coming to Foxborough is just insanity. So, fellas, I want to know, do you guys think that this changed the trajectory of their season, or are they still going to be just kind of mediocre?
So I just want to say, Raven Nation, you already know what it is. Not worry about the Pats. But I will say I think it depends on the type of leash that Belichick keeps Cam on. Like if he lets Cam kind of be Cam and have his personality, I think the Pats will be a better team. But I think it's how Cam kind of conforms to, again, his personality to the quote-unquote Patriot way. So I just hate the media. The media will take – last week the Pats were the worst team in the league since Tom Brady left, and now today they're going to win the Super Bowl. I just like the media perpetuates just crazy narratives when it comes to certain players, certain teams. Realistic for the Pats, I see them going between 8 to 10 wins, no more than 11 wins. I think even without Cam, they were again in that realm somewhere between 8 to 10 wins. So I don't see Cam moving the needle very much. I think again it's Belichick and that system that kind of is gonna get them through. They will have a lot harder time in the AFC East this year. Buffalo has gotten better. Jets got their quarterbacks up and coming. Miami still stinks. So, but I see them at 8 to 10 wins. It's really how Belichick just lets Cam. If he lets Cam go, or if he kind of pigeonholes him. We'll see.
I feel like Cam. I mean, the Pats got a lot to prove, man. Like, one thing I've learned about with sports, the team that you always think that you're going to count out and ain't going to do much ends up doing a lot. I mean, I feel like, and Belichick, he was a Cam. I saw some clips, man. He was a Cam fan in 2017, called him the most mobile quarterback in the NFL. Cam is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. Like he said, like, you know, he never wanted to leave Carolina. He feels like that's the only team I heard that offered him was the Patriots. They kind of gave him like a kind of a messed up deal too for that 1 year. He's coming back off an injury, like has to prove that he does, like, not that he deserves to be in the NFL, but that, like, you know, he's capable of being a premier quarterback. So I think he comes out this year and he balls, man. And we're going to see, like, you know, is the offensive coordinator, I forget his name, Josh McDaniels, all that, like, you know, he was hyped up to be is it Belichick's system really, like, you know, the GOAT system, or was it really Brady? So I think the Pats is just kind of putting all of that in the back of their mind, and, like, you know, everybody's going every game. Like, the beauty about football is 17, 18 games, and, like, you know, every game matters, and I think they all got a reason to play with a chip on their shoulder. So I think I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I got the win in the division over the Bills.
Yeah, I agree with you, them winning the division over the Bills now. I do like the Bills' defense, very stout. I do like how they picked up Stephon Diggs. I just don't really trust Josh Allen. He had a great year last year, but that could be fool's gold. I'm really, really happy for Cam. Carolina did him dirty in the time that they released him. All the quarterback vacancies was getting filled up. He is playing for an incentive deal, so it's like base $2 million, but he could earn up to $7.5 million, which I'm happy for him. I'm just scared for him. Honestly, guys, the Patriots lost a lot of talent, especially on that defensive side, that it was on a historical pace before they shit the bed, you know, tail end of the season. And on top of that, they're going to scapegoat Cam quick with the quickness. And you already know that crowd, that fan, his first INT is going to be F Black Lives Matter. They're getting on his ass. And it's ironic to know that the same pieces that they said Tom Brady didn't have no weapons is what all of a sudden people want Cam Newton to go in there and pull out 8 wins out of his ass. That's a tall task. Mohamed Sanu, wash. N'Keal Harry, I don't know if it was just nerves. He looked terrible. Edelman,
He's young.
He's young, you know what I mean? Edelman, PEDs, steroids. Hopefully he, you know, spend 4 games suspension to get back right. Who's you guys tight end? Lacoste, what's his name? You're on mute, Josh. My fault.
We drafted 2.
All right. Well, hopefully some young, fresh legs. You still got James White. I don't know what happened to
Tony.
Sony Michel. What happened to him? So he's playing behind the 8 ball. But the only reason why I believe in Cam, he never has significant weapons in Carolina and still balled. Besides Greg Olsen, Jonathan Stewart was inconsistent. So I give him a chance. I like Bill. I'm rooting for Josh McDaniels because, you know, you guys, as everyone knows, I hate Tom Brady. I know he's a product of that Bill system. I want him to go to Tampa Bay and actually fail. So I'm rooting for, the Black Lives Matter hater, Drew Brees, and the Saints to win that division. So I am rooting for Cam Newton. I have the Patriots. First of all, the Patriots play the hardest schedule in the NFL next year. I hope everyone knows that. They play the Chiefs. They play the Chargers. They play the Texans. They play the Ravens.
Baltimore.
Yep. So it's going to be tough. I have them going 7-9.
So how you got them winning the division if they're going 7-9?
You only got to win. You only got to win 6.
Yeah.
Hell no. You got to win more than – you got to win. I think to win the division, they got to get –
All right. Yeah, you got to get it to at least 9. All right, that's true. So I'll go 9-7.
I know. I mean, to win your division, you only have to win 6 games.
Yeah, but you got to have the best record in the division.
Oh, yeah, the best record in the division. You're right. I'll go 9-7. I'll go 9-7.
I think that Brady and Belichick are great separately. No, are very good separately, obviously, but it's hard to replace that hole that Brady leaves. Just from a standpoint of like, all right, I'm gonna shred this dude Brady and dress him down in front of everybody, so that way everyone's like, dang, if he can yell at our best player, this legendary dude, he can yell at anybody. And I think that Brady is the embodiment of the famous Kazim Adedarian quote, "Nobody cares, work harder." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's going to be new. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how good a team is really going to be. I mean, I think that they'll at least go like 8-8. You know, I think that we could get to 10 wins. We do have a hard schedule, but that's what the schedule looks like now. You don't know what those teams are gonna look like once the season starts. So I don't really buy into that too much. But I just think that them saying, oh, they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, they're a top 3 team in the AFC, they just have nothing to talk about. There's no way you can look at that team and be like, yo, they're definitely a surefire top 3 team in the AFC. What I do think is, I think that we're gonna take. I think Bill Belichick said, all right, I want to get a mobile quarterback in here. I want to get somebody that we could run a little bit, that we could move the pocket around. And Brady's, you know what I'm saying, was not able to do that even in his prime. And the league is changing a little bit. So they drafted 2 tight ends. We have a decent blocking tight end. I think we're gonna see a little bit of Baltimore Ravens with obviously Cam's a much better passer than Lamar at this point. So we're gonna see a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I think that it's gonna be tough for Cam because it's hard to replace a legend, man. It's hard to replace a legend. So it's gonna be tough for him, but I think he's a great player, and I'm interested to see how it all works out. I just hope that he can stay healthy. That's the main thing. You gotta keep Cam healthy because I don't know what Jarrett Stidham is or isn't. So I'm riding with Cam on this one.
Congrats on that pickup.
Oh, thank you.
And especially, I'm saying especially for the price tag that you got him for the 1 year, it's a great experiment. Like even hit or miss for what you got him for, it's worth it.
Yeah,
MVP for $2 million.
Yeah, and
take that.
And what a lot of people don't understand is just how thin the margin of victory sometimes is during these games where the Patriots are going 13-3, 14-2 every year. But a lot of those wins are close wins. So having that familiarity, that quarterback, you know, we might be looking at 9-7 now because we don't have that familiarity. But I'm rooting like hell for Cam. I'm happy that Belichick picked him up and gave him a chance. And I think that, you know, if anyone can turn Cam back into that elite player that he was in 2015, I think it's the Patriots.
And one more thing to touch on. This is probably the first time in probably 4 years that Cam is healthy. You know what I mean? He had the shoulder injury last year. The year before that was, I want to say, a foot or something like that. So he's been down at least like a year and a half with like playing inconsistently. So this is probably the first time he's been healthy. So yeah, you guys should be excited. But I agree. As soon as that first INT comes, it's gonna be N-word Cam all through New England.
Jiggy, don't laugh it off. You know it's true. WEII, they're ready. Yeah,
I mean, do I think that the New England fans are any more racist than the Indianapolis Colts fans? No. But we're just a major city. Trust me when I tell you that if you think that Indiana isn't just as racist as Massachusetts, you haven't been anywhere, buddy.
You got no stats to back that up, buddy.
Huh?
No stats to back that up, buddy. I heard legends. I heard Bill Russell, David Ortiz, David Price. What's the black guy that put in the baseball that put in his contract? Torrey Hunter. Come on, man. I heard it all. Steven Jackson told us. It is what it is, man. Just accept it.
Steven Jackson told stories about Utah.
And Boston. Yeah, I remember that.
But Utah is different. I wouldn't even want to step foot inside Utah. But yeah, man, I'm excited, man. I think that too, you know, I think that there are a lot of people. See, now we focus on what the white fans will think, what white people will think. Think about all the black people that'll be happy that Cam is there. You know what I'm saying? Or the minorities, I'd be happy that we have finally a black quarterback. So it'll have its yin and yang for sure.
Well, if they let fans go, I'm definitely going with a Carolina Panthers Cam Newton jersey to show love to one of the games. So let me know when you want to roll out to that.
I'm not going to any sporting event with you. I'm not going anywhere with you in a sporting event. Okay, last topic. We're gonna have some fun. Fellas. Who cheats better, men or women?
Yeah, who wants to go first? Me?
Yeah,
You
love this.
Nah, listen. I'm gonna tell you this: men are sloppy when it comes to cheating. Women are finesse kings or queens, I should say. So this has been on my theory when I have these conversations with females. I always say, why can, I can't do what men do and men do this and blah, blah, blah. Why is it double standards, whatever the case may be? I always throw this little thing that somebody at the barbershop taught me. Would you rather have a door that 10 keys can open or a key that can open 10 doors? You guys can answer. Would you rather have a door that 10 different keys can open up or a key that can open up 10 different doors?
I get your premise. I'm not going to touch on this.
So basically what I'm trying
I get what you're saying.
Basically what I'm trying to say is, the double standards between men and women in regards to just how to protect themselves. Obviously, the men are the key, the women are the doors, and we're trying to open it up. Now, with men, we can literally go out there and cheat and have no feelings or association of what we're doing. It's either drunkenness, horniness, trying to prove something, whatever the case may be. When a woman cheats, it is emotional attachment to it. They're seeking something. They are seeking something that they are, they don't have at home. And then on top of that, women present themselves as such these classy species that, they cover it up with the way that they lie, the way that they saying that they're going out. I'm going to Target. Target really is like a 40-minute run to go see John Doe and get her back broken into. You know what I mean? So these are the different things that we have to focus on. So I say women are better cheater than men because men are sloppy, careless, and don't think and don't rationalize. Women are conniving, sneaky, persistent. I always, and I believe it, like men are dogs and females are cats. Cats, you can see they just sneak around the house. They go around the couch. They, you don't even know that they're in the building. Dogs come in, and this is where we get ourselves in a lot of trouble. So I hope America understands like my analogies and how I'm trying to present that.
Women, I feel like, so women, guys don't pay attention to detail like women do. So women, they know when patterns are changing. They know when, like, you start doing something that you weren't doing before and something just kind of rings off. I think guys don't pay attention. Most guys don't pay attention in depth. But also with guys, like you said, it's sloppy. Like the reason for cheating could be like, just like, your ego, like, quick pleasure or like, being drunk or something like that. Well, though that does happen with women as well. I feel like they're more strategic with how they go about it in the sense that, they're going to find a situation where they can guarantee it won't leak out to anyone. And, there's no way you can trace it. It'll probably be a situation in which you'd never think would even be happening. So, yeah, they're definitely like cats. They move in silence. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know where they're jumping, where they're sleeping. You got to kind of call their names a couple times for them to come out with a dog. The dog's always just kind of busting everything up. And you know exactly what he's always making a mess that needs to be cleaned. So, yeah.
Facts.
I personally think it depends on the person. I think females can be sloppy with it. Men can be sloppy with it. Men can be good with it. Women can be good with it. But I really think it all depends on the person. I do agree with y'all that I would say women are much more calculated in their actions, how they go about certain things. Men are more, again, spur of the moment, I guess, which kind of leads to sloppiness. You know what I mean? Because it's like a one-track mind type of situation when women are like thinking about exit strategy B, exit strategy C, alibi D. So I think I would definitely agree with you guys. I think women probably are better at cheating, but I think it's just more calculated than anything.
I think a lot of it just comes from the belief that, like, so Dot made a point, like, women are like, so, all right, so I'll say this. So women are more calculating, but it also comes from the fact that, like, men don't want to believe that their girl can cheat. Like, that she don't even think about that kind of thing. Like, so they have that built-in advantage. Like, we're not looking, we're not checking unless we see something, like, really obvious, like a big, obvious change and, and patterns and stuff like that. Whereas women say, oh, man, he brushed his hair to the side a little bit this morning. He's probably going ahead cheating. Let me go check his phone real quick. And so it's a lot of is into that. And we as men, we just have such ego that we don't want to ever think that, like, why would she want to cheat? Like cheat on me? Like crazy. So, women have that built-in advantage. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if they're better at it, but we let them kind of, present that way.
And going off the ego, Jig, I think men are more sloppy because of ego. Like, we kind of have that complex, like, oh, well, we won't get caught or nothing's going to happen. And that might be to our demise to be true.
No, that's
and not for nothing. A lot of female, like, what do you guys think? Do you think that females, they care about their reputation so much of how they potentially can be perceived that they are so meticulous in how they do their things, where guys, and it comes back to the double standards. You're the man if you're known to sleep with about 3 or 4 girls in a span of time, where the female, they're so discreet about it. If it does happen, obviously you're labeled a hoe or slore, not wifey material. And we've seen guys, cheat, whatever, and have an opportunity to get into other relationships easily, more so than a woman who is labeled because of one infraction in a relationship. And I think that plays a hand in hand in why they go about things so much better than guys. If you guys get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're saying that there's a double standard, basically.
Double standard, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that ties into why they're so meticulous in how they're moving about, you know what I mean? And making sure that you have something to lose, too, in regards to why a lot of guys in relationship cheat. Yo, it's a circle, man.
Yeah, girls are like, they got mind control, man. Like, if you cheat, like if a dude cheat, like they're the dog, like you broke my heart, how could you? But for the women that cheat and then get caught is, oh, because you wasn't doing it. They like
lacked, yeah.
It's like, girl, I don't know, women, man, they got a lot of powers, man. Shout out to them. They got a lot of them. Yeah.
You wasn't busting me like how he was busting me.
Yeah, they'll tell you the craziest thing, and you
wasn't
feel
hitting the spot no more.
Them Tyler Perry movies, man. I used to see it.
Yo, so true, so true.
Man.
So we gotta be careful out here. You obviously, black men don't cheat, so we're just talking all hypothetical and what we see on TV and social media, movie scenes that we've seen. So this is what we're speaking on like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any guys that really cheat. It's just what I see on social media when when someone gets exposed.
Yeah, like, he really did that?
Love and hip hop.
You cheated on that queen? You cheated on that black queen? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I would never watch Love and Hip Hop with a female ever. Like, you get in trouble for what Kirk does, Young Jock does, like Waka Flocka does. So you just always got, and that just goes back to the double standards of the painting with the broad picture. But I think let's all just be faithful and, you know, find that one person and settle down and, you know, create that black love. You know what I mean? Jiggy, you with me?
You are hilarious. Hilarious. I mean,
oh, shit.
now a lot of that has to do with age. 'Cause I feel like you might get to a certain point and you're like, all right, like I don't have the energy to cheat. Like I got all this stuff like I'm worried about. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying? They say that idle time is the devil's playground.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
That's why like all these dudes who are like unemployed and broke and sleeping on mad women's couches, like they have nothing but time, so they know how to gas it up. They're like thoughtful. They're texting right after she texts. Like, you know, it's just funny, man, how the world works, man. It's just funny.
Oh man, that was a hilarious statement right there.
Before we end this show, I need Zim to explain why Trolls went from #1 to number 34 on the charts and had the biggest drop off in the history of Billboard.
Well, it was almost by design by the opposition. Obviously he did a major run press during that first week, but it's hard to stay consistent in that realm when you don't get no radio play, when you get no playlist play. Like, do you want him to continue trolling? But once again, as long as you recognize he was #1 and he's still number 34, which means he's still in the top 100 and he's still making coins off of a video he did off of house arrest. So shout out 6ix9ine. I see you rubbing off on Akadmiks. You got him out here looking wild.
Behavior.
Yeah, you got Akadmiks looking wild. And speaking of Akadmiks, I'm not gonna sit here in front. I go to his page and Shade Room page just to, you know, get in depth on what, you know, what's going on. But what's happening with Akadmiks is he is finding his niche in the culture, and in his mind, he does feel he is part of the culture and the reason why it is doing what it's doing and progressing. And honestly, I agree with him. But it's having him flex in an inappropriate way. And unfortunately, he's not built like that. I understand this whole MO is I'm the basement guy that just wants my headphones and video games and troll or whatever the case may be. But he does have to step outside. He does have to be mindful of talking about people's wives and kids and stuff of that nature. And he can't put that energy out there. Because regardless of what I say about 6ix9ine, how much I loved him, he did put that energy out there. It caught up to him. He was able to recover, which I'm so happy about. I'm just not sure if Akadmiks can do that. And I watched his everyday struggle today, talking about the Freddie Gibbs. He was backpedaling like a mother hubba, and it just shows you're hyped in that moment. But no, whoa, this is really going on, and Freddie is not letting up. Talk about Freddie Gibbs, one of the dopest lyricists. He's not commercially successful, but that boy's nice on the mic.
Nah, Freddie's elite, man. So just to add context, remember I was always talking about Akadmiks in this chat, and I think you guys kind of like came over to my side a little bit and like saying, all right, cool, like he's giving us updates. He seems like he knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna say two things though. One, I think that his success has gone to his head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that he was talking last night made me really uncomfortable. Like John Legend's wife, Freddie Gibbs' kids. He even like was trying to antagonize Meek Mill, and so now it's like everything is safe because we're all kind of under lock and key. There's no concerts, there's no festivals, but him and 6ix9ine are gonna have to, you know, the bill's gonna come due on that cash shit that they was talking, and like I already know Akadmiks, like we seen him with Vic Mensa, we seen him with the Migos, like he don't want no smoke, no action, nothing. And you talking about Meek Mill who rolls around with monsters. Freddie Gibbs rolls around with monsters from Gary, Indiana. If you don't know about Gary, Indiana, do your Googles. It's wild over there. So you're talking about men that do tough things, and you don't do tough things.
My thing with Akadmiks is I feel like he's finally lashing out. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we look at certain dudes and one thing that I've always been against, and I feel like he probably shouldn't have said certain things that he said, but a way that I've always been is I don't like bullies, you know? And people feel because Meek is who Meek is and who he hangs out with, and whatever his Freddie Gibbs is, that he should be allowed to say whatever he wants to Akadmiks and Akadmiks because he's not seen in that light. We get to choose how he rebuttals or how he acts. Like, if you remember, I didn't like Akadmiks when he first came out, but if you remember, people didn't respect him. And now that he's gotten more popular, if you look at kind of what I feel like artists are starting to realize that he can kind of give him a boost. But if you look at the comments, there's certain things that, like, I always say this, they're humans at the end of the day. Like, you can't turn off feelings sometimes. And if you look at those comments, they're like always talking about his weight. They're always saying he pays for sex. Like, just always clowning him kind of. And depending on who you are, I feel like if you say something to him, he's going to use his platform the best way he can get you. And that's like what 6ix9ine does. He trolls online, like he try to get everybody to kind of turn against you and like laugh at you too. So I feel like he's never going to be able to take it from a tough route, but that's the way he can kind of combat some of the jokes that people try to make on him.
Yeah, but like, I get what you're saying, but I just, like Zim said, I didn't like the energy that he was conveying. Like, he made it, it's okay to defend yourself, defend your name, but like, he came with like a gangster type of energy, and then you're incorporating people's kids, people's wives in your statements. It's one thing, like, if you're a blogger and that's your profession, you gotta keep it professional, or let's stick to the art, let's stick to the comments at hand. But you telling John Legend's wife to SMD, like, that's not gangster and that's not professional. So now you look like even more of a con, because what are you doing? Now you look like a 6ix9ine because you're just out here trolling. You're not getting anything out. Like, what is John Legend? How can John Legend propel your career? How can Chrissy Deegan propel your career? You're a hip hop guy. You're talking to an R&B guy and an R&B guy's wife who's on TV and models. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just felt like some of the comments that he made were inappropriate. And like Zim said, if you come with that energy, you got to be prepared to that what comes with it. You know what I mean? You can't just go out there and speak on people's names any type of way, whether it's internet, videos, live. Like, you can't just speak any type of way and think there's going to be no repercussions for it.
No, I feel you, but I don't know what Chrissy said, but from what I knew about the Freddie Gibbs situation, like, they were having a conversation, him, Wayno, and I forget the woman's name on the show. They were having a conversation about, like, is he relevant? And he gave his opinion as like the host of the show, the blogger, like, he didn't feel he was relevant because of whatever his album sales are. And Wayno and the woman was trying to tell him, like, this is why. So Freddie Gibbs went and said something about how I'll give $5K to any girl that will admit they have. So he tried to, like, clown him first and then act. But that's what I'm saying. You go those comments, bro, and you got like 1 million followers, and you seeing 1 million comments every day that you pay for sex and you're fat and you got titties and you got what they be saying, like, oh, App wants a Big Mac or some stupid shit. Like, depending on who the right person is, you just snap one day. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, so you make a lot of great points, Don. I actually do get your premise, but as an artist, you turn on a show, you hear somebody who you view as not as talented. He is talented to create that Akadmiks platform, but saying that you're not relevant, your music's not good based on sales. So like you said, the human element comes into, he's gonna react. And his reaction was the 5K thing, and then it did turn left. And then another thing that I appreciate you admitting saying, he picks and chooses who he's gonna combat. And Meek Mill, especially on social media, is always an easy target because of what Drake did to him.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. And this is like, because Meek Mill had nothing to do with yesterday's thing, and then once again just brought him in because of what happened 2 weeks ago in that exchange. And that's Meek Mill's premise. Like, who says this guy is for the culture? Does he contribute to the culture? Does he create beefs? So Akadmiks does pick and choose. And what I noticed today, because I went to Everyday Struggle just to see, he was scaling it back, and I'm glad Wayno called him out. Like, oh, look how you're saying it now. You didn't say that on the show or in your Twitch or whatever you do. So, you know, it's just dicey. But once again, I am a fan of Akadmiks. Like in the sense of what he does and provides for me informational wise. But I agree with Josh that the fame is getting to his head. He is very comfortable now in his pocket, and regardless of people like him or not, he is relevant. He is relevant, and he does come. His analysis come with stats, but unfortunately, he feels you sell 30K, you're whack, you're this. It's just, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's where Akademiks crosses the line sometimes. Where Wayno can say the same exact thing that Akademiks says, but Akademiks says it in a clowning nature. Like, you know, I sent to you guys.
Win or
Like,
loss.
there was no point in saying it. 5K smoke perp like that.
5K.
And then he goes wins or loss. Like, yeah, it's just like, you know what he's doing, but you can't call him up because it's actual numbers. It's like,
No.
I remember the Troy Ave one. The Troy Ave was the best stage.
The Troy Ave.
Akademiks at Troy Ave.
Oh my God. I think that rappers do need to understand that the guy does have a job to do, just like a sports analyst. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think Akadmiks also has to realize, like, all right, you know, it's one thing to like have a pro athlete be mad at you, because 9 times out of 10, they be, like, you know, they'll respond and say something, oh, you're a hater, or you know what you're talking about, or like, I never said that. It's another thing when you got these rappers, and some of them are not, you know, some of them are not the nicest people, and react the way that they react. And like, he'll say, oh, Freddie Gibbs only sold 25K first week, but he sold 25K independently.
Yeah.
So like, that's like, so that's like a lot of money coming in, whereas like a guy like Nav could sell one something. Another one of his famous targets, Nav, could sell one, you know, there's features, there's label, you know what I'm saying? It's different. Yeah, man, I hope Akadmiks don't get beat up. If you remember, I kept saying, yo, Akadmiks is gonna pay for all our 6ix9ine sins.
Yeah, he gonna, man.
Like, it is what it is.
Because they was already trying to get to him at Complex Con. They hit him 6ix9ine. So when the world opened back up, whenever that is in 2025, I hope that Akadmiks got that same energy.
Fellas.
But yo,
appreciate y'all.
Wrap it up.
Peace, cuzos.
All right, fellas.